Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. The legendary Chita Rivera, three-time Tony Award winner, Kennedy Center honoree, and the recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, has just written, along with Patrick Pacheco, her new memoir called Chita. This eagerly awaited, wildly entertaining memoir has just been released on Harper One. I have known her since 1977, and it is a thrill to be sitting with her here at the Roseville Cocktail Room at Civilian NYC. Please say hello to Broadway's brightest star, Miss Chita Rivera. I am thrilled to be sitting with you.
Oh, well, we've been sitting together for a long time.
Yeah, we've been sitting together since, I think, 1977 at the school of Ted Hook at Ted Hook's Backstage, right?
That's exactly right, next to the Martin Beck Theater.
Yeah.
Ted Hook's.
Well, I'm thrilled to be sitting with you here. The new memoir that you have written is so beautiful. It's so sensational. I thought I knew everything about you. Exactly. I know you're a very private person. So what was it that made you say, yes, I think I'll tell my story now?
It was time. It was just time. I acknowledged the time. And when Patrick Pacheco, when you decide that you want to be a partner with Patrick Pacheco, it's easy because things roll naturally, and Patrick, all he had to say was, "Are you ready to do it?" Because I had done Chita.
The Dancer's Life.
The Dancer's Life.
Yeah.
And Patrick had talked to me about that, and at great length. And so we had already had some experience with that. And so this time we just jumped it right in, you know.
Well, he's someone who's known you forever, too.
Yeah, well, everybody kind of has been around for forever.
So did you work during COVID? Did you talk on the phone? Like, how did you work on the book?
Well, we worked on the phone an awful lot. And when you're close friends like this, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easier to open up, even if you're joking about something. You know, you're still telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and so we worked through COVID and just related to each other. You know, he has the qualities that I like. Family, you know, love, faithfulness, family, you know, and religion, you know. And so we just had an awful lot in common.
Because what I love about the book is it's not only Chita telling her story, we're introduced to Dolores. Now, for those who don't know who Dolores is, tell everybody who Dolores is.
Well, Dolores is my other person. My real name is Dolores Conchita Figueroa del Rivero. And for the longest kind of time, for years, I was Conchita del Rivero. Did you know me as Conchita?
No.
Okay. And my mother used to call me Dolores, and people, you know, they used to call me Chita, you know, to, you know, cut some of Conchita off. And one day, I stood up for myself, and I suddenly went, well, with the help of Patrick, that's Chita. A reporter said to me, what is it about you that people don't know very much about, you know. Is there something about you that nobody knows anything about? And I said, yes, that I'm nowhere near as nice as I appear to be. Well, that is Dolores. That is Dolores. She's the one that saved my life, really. She gives me the fight. She gives me the truth. And she's good company. You know?
She's great company.
Yeah, she's great company.
No, I love it. There's two sides of you in this book, which is really great.
Yeah.
What I also love is you started off with heritage. Heritage is really important. And, you know, with everybody trying to find their, you know, their true heritage now and own it. And, you know, with everything going on in the world, people are fighting to hold on to who they are.
Right.
Heritage is really important to you, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Who you are.
Yeah.
Eventually, it mattered where I came from. At the beginning, it didn't. I was too busy running up and down the neighborhood, roller skating and bicycling and just being a kid, and then my father's family became predominant, and I just kind of like laughed it off, you know. But I still feel like I'm a human being.
Yeah.
You know, I am a human being that happens to be Latin. I find myself fighting for something that I'm not sure I really want to fight about.
Yeah.
Because it's natural to be who I am. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but you were always proud of your nationality through your entire career, working in a predominantly white show business, which I'm fascinated with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, there used to be a guy that hung out at a corner, one of the four corners, and he used to stare at me. And I used to wonder why, you know. And he was a white guy. And I guess he was wondering why I was mixed with all these different shades of brown, you know. I really have no idea, but he stuck in my mind. And my life just went in that direction, in the right direction. And I was able to do shows that depicted certain nationalities, ethnic nationalities. And I mean, I played French and, you know, Spanish and Italian and Greek and, you know, but I think that's what I'm made for, you know, for everything.
Yeah.
For everything. And I think that's eventually what we all should, you know, we all should relate to.
Yeah. You pay such a beautiful homage to your family, particularly your mother and father. And I didn't know your father, of course. You used to talk about your dad a lot, but Pedro Julio, there's a beautiful photograph of him in this.
Yeah.
I know he passed away when you were very young. I think it was 7.
Right, exactly.
What do you carry about your father with you? What do you remember about?
I carry, he was a very, very elegant man. I carry respect with him tremendously. And he used to be pretty strict, from what I can remember at 7 years old. He was extremely handsome, and he was a father.
Yeah.
He was a father. I answered to him, and then when he was sick, we were not allowed at the hospital, so we used to stand outside and look up at the window and talk to him. But we only had, 7 for me, 6 for Armando, 5 for Lola, but very few years that we had my father. And Mother never married again.
Yeah. Well, Mother I knew really well. I adored your mom.
I know.
There's a beautiful picture of her in the book.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a beautiful stole.
Oh, yeah.
And you bought her that stole, didn't you?
Yeah. I wanted to get Mother something.
Yeah.
With the money that I earned. And I saw this fox fur. These, they bite each other's tails. And Mother she had never had anything like this. And so I bought it for her. And she looked so elegant with it on. And I was proud of it.
Because you forget about, when you're growing up, you forget the sacrifices a parent makes. And she was a single mother raising you all.
Yeah.
And I just remember that, reading that in the book. That's what I love about this too, that, you wanted to give back. Because I'm sure there were so many sacrifices, small and big, that she made. Also for your professional career, I'm sure, with finding money for dance classes, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how she found that money, I don't know. And I never asked.
Yeah.
I just took it for granted. And when I won the scholarship to New York City Ballet, she was right on that train with me. She put me in a home where there was a family, so that I was safe.
Yeah.
And I could just carry on my classes. My mother was, it's almost easy to ignore that kind of treatment because it's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's giving and loving and thinking of no one else but herself. Except she had you, all of you, as her children.
Yeah.
I mean, you all called her mother.
Yeah.
And
No, but that's the wonderful side of this book, that I thought I knew everything, but you forget about sacrifices. And there's another little bit in the book, too, where I know that your father was a saxophonist and clarinet.
Yeah.
And they lived under the bed in Mother's room, right?
That's right.
And those are her prized possessions.
Yeah, and then she had to sell them.
Yeah.
And I never knew that she sold them.
Yeah.
And we used to sneak looks at the saxophone and the clarinet. And we know that we weren't supposed to touch them, but we did anyhow. And we snuck looks and playing, and Mother would say, "All right, now I hear you guys up there laughing, and you better be good." Yeah. And then we put it back under the bed and be back to being kids again.
Yeah. Because you've learned, your work ethic is amazing. Everybody who I've ever spoken to who's worked on one of your shows always says it starts with Chita, but she looks out for absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
And these were things you learned from growing up.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, we learned how to take care of each other.
Yeah.
And then being in the chorus of the dance world, you look and you size up the chorus, and you look out for each other. I mean, the story that I always tell is the one about Shirley MacLaine in Sweet Charity, and we go up this rooftop and we do this one movement, we turn and do this, and we fly off in a la second, and Paula's the first, Shirley MacLaine is the second, and I'm the third, and we're catty corner like that. And and Bobby says, Fosse says, Paula, you and Chita, and he takes us in the corner, and he says, you have to do it right each time, because I'm taking her best take, and which is exactly the way it should be. And so it was nothing for us. And we go up and we do, and we come off, and I go a little further than I'm supposed to. And I go, dear God. And she overheard me. And she said, what's wrong? I said, it's okay. I just, overshot the step. And she said, Bobby, can we do this again? And that's the way dancers are, and that's the way we were in the theater. We took care of each other. I mean, if you fall, there's always somebody there to help you.
Yeah.
And then to laugh with you.
Yeah. Because you said something to me a long time ago, and it's something that I live by to this day. You said, we are an amalgamation of everybody who we meet.
Absolutely.
And we work with.
Absolutely.
And if we're smart enough, we take the best of those people, right?
That's right. That's right.
So I'm going to mention some people, some of the greatest artists that you've worked with.
Boy.
And just tell me what comes to mind. I mean, or a fun story or a memory. I mean, West Side Story, I mean, there will never be anything like that.
No.
And I mean, 1957.
That's right.
A whole other time. I mean, what was it like working with Jerome Robbins, Leonard Bernstein, Arthur Lawrence, Stephen Sondheim, being in the room with those people, creating and having Anita created for you and on you?
Oh, well, it was an opportunity that that you just couldn't give up. Yeah. You were hungry from the appetite that they gave you. And Jerry Robbins, Peter Gennaro assisted him in the Sharks choreography. And so the Sharks and the Jets never met one another. And but to be in a room with Leonard Bernstein was just so appetizing. So you just couldn't get enough of what he had to say, or what Jerry had to say, or what, well, Stephen wasn't Stephen Sondheim at the time. I mean, he had yet to become Stephen Sondheim. But Arthur Lawrence, they all knew their place, and they all worked together. Why? For the play. Yeah. For the play. And we were the play. We were the story that had to be told. And we were told, not to talk to any jets at all, sharks. And absolutely, I'm obedient. Except I saw Tony Mordenti, and he was the cutest thing I had ever seen. And Jerry adored him also. And I would just sneak a few little peeks at him. I mean, he was dancing, and he was being brilliant. And I just said hi. And that's all that I had to say. I not only spoke to him, I spoke to him, married him, had a baby by him, and Jerry gave us a wedding party, So we did something right.
So then your daughter Lisa is the only shark and jet, right?
That's
She's a combination of both,
That's
right?
She's the only living shark jet.
Yeah. I love that. All right, Dick Van Dyke. I mean, Bye Bye Birdie. I mean, you got to do Rosie in that. I mean, just being in the room with Dick and getting to know him.
Yeah, I mean, just rubbing up against these people.
Yeah.
You're bound to get something on you.
Yeah.
You hang around with them, and I mean, Dick Van Dyke is the nicest guy, funniest guy, natural guy, and it went on to be a huge, huge star, and never forgot me. Yeah. Never forgot me as a friend or. He was perfect.
Yeah.
He was a perfect leading man.
You two got in trouble during the rehearsals of Bye Bye Birdie because of your laughter, right? Together,
well, yeah.
The giggles.
Yeah. We got the giggles, and the one thing that I insist upon is laughing.
Yeah.
And.
But Gower Champion told you to go home, right? Two of you?
Well, yeah, Gower Champion said, I think the two of you should go home now because you're no use here. And because I said, you go your way, I go my way, east and west on the Lincoln Highway. And Dick said, what? And I said, you go, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, we blew it from that.
To be told to go home by Gower Champion, that's a big deal, right?
That's right. It was the end of the evening anyhow. It was the end.
It's like, go home.
Go home.
Okay, Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon. I mean, what was it like working with Bob Fosse? You worked with him numerous times, of course, on Sweet Charity, and then the film, and then, of course, Velma in Chicago. What was it like working with him?
Well, to have been in the company of Gwen Verdon was quite something. She was a perfect example of a perfect dancer. I used to watch her on television, in films and everything, and to think that I would one day be standing next to her, doing the same steps as she, was just something that I never dreamed would ever happen, and sure enough, I did Can with her, and that was when she pulled me aside in her dressing room and gave me some encouragement and said, you should really think about a part of your own. And, I didn't know what she meant. And she was telling me to go off on my own and to have the confidence and the assurance that I had something to offer.
Yeah.
And that really turned my head, and it opened me up. And Bob Fosse, he was just somebody that you had to. If you didn't copy, you were a fool. If you didn't, try to do exactly what he's talking about, what he's choreographing, you were a fool.
Yeah.
And how are you going to tell the story? You're going to tell it the way he tells you to tell it. And I learned how to do Bob Fosse's choreography. I did think that I would never get off the chair. Because he had so many ideas about this chair. And so I asked Tony Stevens, God rest his soul, I said, can you get Bobby to get me off this chair? And he spoke to Bob, and I should have been careful with what I asked for. Because he had me all over the stage, and he had me all over the chair, and then all over the stage, and it was great.
Because I was going to ask you, because anybody who doesn't know, that you can watch this on YouTube. There are some clips that were done, and you on that chair. I mean, you stopped the show like 6 different times in the show, but when Velma takes the stand, there's a shot of you. There's like 2 minutes of you on that chair.
Yeah.
Dancing this way and that way with the legs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you do that 8 times a week?
Yeah, well, I had respect for the chair.
Yeah.
I had respect for the chair.
Yeah.
And it was a strong, sturdy chair. It planted itself right there.
Yeah.
And it said, now do what you have to do
Yeah.
with me, but I'm staying right
Yeah.
here. And you're going to respect me. And, people that replaced me, I took downstairs, and the chair was up on the set, and I said, "You see that chair? You have to respect that chair."
Yeah. Because when you two went off, the chair got some applause too. When you pushed that was your scene partner, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The chair got applause too.
Yeah. You're so. In the book, you talk about your relationship with Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned that to me a long time ago, but we never talked about this. But you talk very candidly in the book about this. I adored Sammy Davis Jr., as everybody did.
Yeah.
And you, of course, did Mr. Wonderful with him.
Yeah.
He offered you a lot of advice when you were with him. What was one of the greatest pieces of advice he gave you?
Oh, wow. Well, Sammy was busy being Sammy.
Yeah.
He offered the kids in the show, drinks and food and a meeting place up at his apartment, and but he offered himself.
Yeah.
He was open to anybody that asked him any questions, or he was the perfect example of I want to say star, but
But he told you that ambition was okay, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Ambition is okay, and do it to the best of your ability, and learn, and so I did. I grew to love him
Yeah.
because he was such a giving, beautiful human being, and he never forgot anybody.
Yeah.
He never forgot anybody. For such a short person, he was a very tall being.
Yeah.
He just took care of the entire company, you know.
Because that's what you do too. You've always been a giver. You've never been a taker. And you get rewarded by being a giver, don't you?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly, you get rewarded by being a giver. It's really very simple,
Yeah.
you know.
There were two other men, John Kander and Fred Ebb. I can only imagine you talk so highly about them in the book and everything they've done for you. Yeah.
I owe them my life. Freddie is gone now, and John, John is pushing up the age, but it's not letting him stop. He's opening up in a brand new show soon. Without Freddie and John, there would be no Chita. There would be no Chita. I've had good luck, you know, in that I came along at a time where they did a lot of shows, but fortunately they hired me for them, you know, and they became my friends. I mean, my brothers.
Yeah.
And the kind of people that I want to be around, you know. All of my friends are people that, including you. I mean, your friendship means so much to me that, and it's colored my canvas. It's colored my canvas. I don't know what color.
It's bright.
It's bright. It might be a couple of colors.
Totally. I also want to throw Terrence McNally in here,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Terrence also knew me better than I knew myself. I mean, I can blame Terrence for an awful lot of whatever.
Yeah.
You know, show business.
Yeah. Cy Coleman. That was a great phone call you got from Cy Coleman, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. He asked me if I wanted to do a sweet charity, and I said, well, if I bring my own shoes, because I can't replace Gwen Verdon. You can't replace the person that originated.
Yeah.
And anyhow, I said yes. You know, I said yes to Cy.
But I love what you said, I'm going to bring my own shoes.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people have lived by. A lot of people who step in.
I mean, that means you got to be yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be yourself. You can imitate, but you can't. You can't duplicate.
Yeah. You can emulate a little bit.
Yeah.
You should make something your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to go back to Chicago for a second. Were you at the Forest Theater in Philadelphia when you first heard the Vamp for all that jazz?
Yeah.
Were you in the basement?
I was in the yeah. I was on the stage, and then I went in the basement, and I heard the Vamp that John played the Vamp for all that jazz and for the opening number, and I just lost it. I mean, I jumped up and down, and John said, just calm it, Chita. Calm. That's only a vamp. There's a whole song. And I went, oh, and I felt like an idiot, really. But I was so grateful to get that vamp. Nobody writes vamps
Like John.
Like John.
Yeah. But that's your
Nobody.
vamp. That is your vamp.
That is my vamp.
I love that. You continue to travel, you perform all around the world, all around the country. What do you enjoy the most about performing in front of a live audience and doing your nightclub act and your concerts?
Their breathing, their response,
Yeah.
they keep you an open wound. You have to hear them respond. Even the silence is thundering because it says something. The audience has a dialogue
Yeah.
also, and you have to respect that because you're doing what you're doing for them. You're doing it for them.
Yeah. You know, because we didn't have that for almost 2 years. I mean, with
yeah.
the COVID shutdown, no one knew anything was going to happen.
Yeah.
So do you remember some of those first performances back when you were on stage and you were like, wow, I'm doing what I do best?
Yeah. but I took it for granted, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But something else I want to talk about. During Jerry's Girls, you had a life-threatening car accident. And we've talked about this before, but the doctor said you probably wouldn't dance again and you probably wouldn't walk again. And you know, with so many people going through so many things, how were you able to accept what happened to you and how were you able to move through that?
You wake up every day a different person. You may not think you are,
Yeah.
but you are different. You're a day older, you're whatever. And so in my particular case, when I had the accident, the doctor put my leg back together again. I then was doing everything the doctor said to do to make his job successful, which meant me standing up and using this leg. But every day is different, and so I accepted the lack of certain things. I used them elsewhere, you know. I just did it different.
Yeah.
You know, you just you do things differently.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember the first time you were back on stage, we all went up to the Catskills to see you. It was between Christmas and New Year's, and we all went up to see you. That was your first time back on stage again.
Oh, wow.
And I remember you telling me, you were like, I don't know if I can do this. And we were all there, and you were so spectacular that night. It seems like such a long time ago, maybe in
sure
your head.
does. It sure does, because I've moved on.
Yeah.
I've just moved on.
Yeah. But you realized you had to do it.
Yeah.
To see if you could do it again. You were brilliant that night. I'll never forget that up there.
Yeah, you have to try.
Yeah. I've had the time of my life sitting with you here today. The book is out. You can also get the audiobook, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
It's all out now on Harper One, and it's a great Mother's Day gift for anybody who wants to give a gift for any holiday coming up, but specifically Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I adore you. I love you more. Get over here, you.
I love you more.
I love you more.